Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Affinity Photo and dividing some type or slicing it in numerous ways. Now you could of course slice it downwards, cross, whatever, maybe multiple different ways. I'm just going to go for straight down, but you can use the same basic approach to cut it in all kinds of different ways. So what am I going to do? Just simply go over here to layers, and that's the key thing all the way through this. So view and studio and layers. And simply select that layer, that group, and you can remove it. So let's go straight back. Now I'm using here artistic type or text, but you can use frame, whatever, it doesn't particularly matter. Artistic text. And I'm just going to quickly add some words. Type. Something like that. Very basic. Of course, set up the font, and you could use Academy, whatever you want to use. Gothic, perfectly reasonable. And with that, what you need to do is you need to convert it to a curve. There's a number of options. Go over here into convert to curves. Also you can go to a layer and convert to curves. And there's probably quite a few other places as well. So convert it to curves. So you can see there in the layers, now you've got curves. Instead of type, you can't edit it now. So if you want to change that, you have to just go back, just type some new text. So what you can do, you can add some text on top of this. I'm going to use it and add it to the group, and that's the key thing. Needs to be part of the same group and above. Doesn't actually matter whether it's above or not. Matters more for subtract and all the other ones. So what you can then do is I'm just going to go over here. You could use any design here, but I'm just going to go for the rectangle, and I'm using red so I can just see it. Compared to, obviously, if you've got red type there, maybe not a good idea, but if you've got black type, I'm just using red. And you, of course, can vary the size of this. You don't have to have it thin, but I'm going to go with thin. And I'm going to duplicate it. So just go here with the Move tool, hold down the Alt or Option key, it's on the keyboard, next to the Command or Control or whatever, depending on your keyboard, and then just drag. And you can see you can duplicate that design. You can go the other way as well, if reasonable. Do that. Now, what you want is it all to be part of the same group. So you can obviously do it now, but I could just drag it down. So it's part of the group. And I'm going to continue to add. So you can see it, group, rectangle, and then the curves below. These are curves as well, except they're just called rectangle instead, but they're basically part. Double click to always access. If you've got the whole of group selected, double click to go to the individual part. And then simply drag, and you'll notice it's still being added to the group. And you can resize. You don't have to have the same size. And you maybe make it thinner. And if you want to go even thinner than that, it's probably best to use, of course, the navigator to zoom in a bit, because it's a bit tricky to manipulate design otherwise. And you can position it in different positions, as long as it doesn't have to be on top. You could actually have it like that if you want. Just as reasonable. If you want it just split all the way through, divided all the way through, simply go across like that. So now you've got all that. What you can do, you can go up here and you can, obviously you've got the group selected, and you can manipulate the group, resize that. And you'll notice if you go to a layer and geometry, none of the things are available. So what you need to do, it's weird. I must admit that is one thing that slightly bugs me with this. I would have thought that if you select the group, it should realise you want to do divide to the whole group. However, what you can do, just select the individual designs, go all the way down there. So you've selected them all, which is basically the same as the group. And then go to a layer, and you can go to geometry. And of course you could use your subtract and things, but what I want is divide. So divide, and now it's all divided into, if it's done it properly, sometimes has a tendency not to do it properly. Once it's done that, now what you can do, you can select the individual ones. So again, double click, and you can move them away, and you can move that away, and you can see, now you can leave, of course, the red in there. So if you want to create a nice design with your red, just maybe slightly shift them like that. All those sort of things. Now, unfortunately, in photo, there is no select by colour feature. So you can't go up here and say select same colour. I'm not certain why that hasn't been added. However, you can do it in Affinity Designer. So if you've got that, I guess you could always go, if you could access the personas, you could go to Designer or simply just do this in Designer. That's the one weird things with Affinity Photo. Didn't realise that. Anyway, so you can just drag those. But if, like I say, if you want to remove all these reds, what you can do, simply go up there and then you go down there. That's why I put them into the all together, and you can see the same colour. There's all the curves. What you can do, simply delete them. Just go down the bottom there, click, and then you've got rid of them all. And of course, you've got your type now nicely split. Now, of course, if you want to go the other way, you can do that as well. So you can just, I'm just going to quickly do that. So I can quickly create my text, my rectangles that way. And again, now, of course, again, it always creates it outside of the group, which is odd. When you're inside the group, you think it would. But anyway, so just drag those back down again. So they're actually in the group. And then you can double click again so you can select the individual ones, and you can just drag that down like that. And now select all of the entries again. Can't select the group, obviously, just select all the individual entries and then go to a layer and geometry and divide. So again, what you've done, you've divided it, and again, go to the reds. So the reds are selected. You don't have to, of course. You could always just move them out again like before. You could just do that. Reasonable. Chunks there. But you can, of course, select them. Again, that's why I've gone for red, because it's nice and bright and I can see the difference between the black there. And I just delete them. And you've got your type now split both ways. If that's what you want, or you could, of course, do it the other direction as well, or random directions as well. You don't have to just do it. You can just create the design like that. And of course, you can always rotate the design and then have the angle at different angles. Rotate it that way. And you could do exactly the same and create your divided text that way. Well, I hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials about Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Affinity Publisher, Photoshop, Illustrator, and many, many other applications. If you've got any comments, please put them in the comments, obviously. If I think something wrong, something right, please let me know. A dislike or like. Thank you much.